Good morning, YouTube and the internets. Down in my garage on Thursday night, looking at 7 crankshafts, each of them with an unserviceable tag. I can't find the one for that one. So currently, for the RB build, new plan. Well, sort of the same plan that I've sort of said before, maybe. Maybe it's different. I can't remember what I said. Basically, I'm going to get 3 of these crankshafts. I'm going to re-measure them all now because I didn't measure all of them. I only measured the ones I had before. I sent them to the machine shop for checking. I'm going to pick 3 crankshafts out of this batch, and I'm going to send them to this crankshaft guru that this bloke has kindly offered to put me sort of in contact with, and double check the results on whether or not these are unserviceable or not. I'm not saying they're not cracked, but I am saying it's unlikely that 7 of them are cracked to the point where they can't be used, because RB25 crankshafts don't break. So that's all I'm doing tonight. I'm going to drop them off, and we'll see how they go with that guy, and see what results he gives me on the best 3 I can find. I'm picking 3 just in case there's a arena failure in 1 or 2. If he comes back and says, yeah, there's a crank here that's perfectly usable for your purpose, I'm going to be pulling all of my stuff out of that workshop. They've done something else I'm not happy with, but let's see what the result of this is before going too far and jumping to any conclusions. So to start with, I'm going to measure the bigs with the bigger mic. I'm just going to measure the center of the first 2 on each to give me an idea. If they're under tolerance on the first couple, then there's no point checking any further, and this will hopefully quickly knock a few of these cranks out, so I don't have to check all the journals on all of the crankshafts, because that'll take hours. So yeah, I'm just going to record the measurements here and see how we go. I've shown you how to use the mic in the past, so if you're interested in that, go and watch that video. Otherwise, I'll set it up here and just see what happens. Alright, so this time, instead of taking all the measurements, writing them down and then converting them, I've got the minimum and maximum number and converted them already. So for the mains, we're looking at 2 inches, 0.1634 is the minimum value. So let's have a quick look here. So the Woodruff keys are vertical, top dead center, number 1. I'm not looking at taper or anything, so I'm just going to take a center measurement. So they're all going to be 2 inches because that's the minimum. 0.1, yep. 0.15, 0.16, 6, 1, 2, 3, 9. So that one's alright. Yep, it's right in the middle of the range. So I'll take another one here, see what I get. Not going to measure them all, remember, just getting a sample and seeing where we're at. So I'll write above that number so I know I'll pass the first test. Roll it out of the way. Fuck! Wow, that's really bad. So I've had to set you up in a slightly more distant and safer position. We've got our first loser. This one is under. You are the weakest link. So now just going to rinse and repeat on a couple of the big ends. See what's under, see what isn't. This crank here looks odd. You see the nose? There's no step. All the other cranks have a step. This does not. And it's just measured bigger than factory. By not much, but by less than the tolerance of the tool. And I'm going to take a few more measurements on this one, just in case this is not a standard crank. This was the one that came out of the engine originally, based on the measurements. It being smaller, well actually I'm assuming, so it's small, it's under, and this one's got the burn marks on it. So I think this is the one that was in that blue engine that wasn't assembled correctly. If I'm right, this will come up with the measurement halfway between that one and that one. Yep. So let's get rid of the smallest crank, which was always the smallest. So this is the next smallest, and it was one of the first batch tested. This is the one I crack tested. So I'm going to ditch that one as well. Which gives me 4 to choose from. So number one to send is this one, because this is different to the others with this this nose thing here. So I definitely want to send that, and I want the dude I'm talking to have a look at it, tell me what he thinks it is. So then I've got to pick 2 more, and since they're all well and truly in the high range. So this one's going. This one's definitely going. It's got the most meat on it. So that's those 2. I'll do a visual inspection of these 2 cranks and just pick the one that looks like it's in the best condition. This one has slightly more meat on it than this one, but I'll just have a visual and see if I can see anything wrong with one of them to knock it out. So the deciding factor between these 2 cranks is not the visual inspection, it's the fact this is the first preferred crank, and I want that crank that I first took in checked by this guy. Now like I said, I've seen the cracks, I've seen photos of the testing, and I can see the cracks visually, but it's whether or not the cracks are critical, whether they're in a location where it matters, and whether they're likely to see stresses that are going to cause any issues. So we'll see how it goes. So we're taking number 3, number 5, and number 7. 3 because it's the first one, number 5 because it's got this oddity with the nose, and this 1Z or Z1, whichever way you look at it, stamping, and this one because it's got the most meat left on it. It's got the biggest journals of all on both the mains and the big end, so it means it's got the most to be able to be taken out of it if it needs taking out. I'm labelling the other cranks now so I don't mix them up again like I did before, and I mean they were pretty much in order that I got them back, but I had to sort of remember, and then I could see the markings like this one, and then I got, so those three that I first took, the measurements were what I got before, so they're the same ones, and then these three here, and the other one that's over there. Yeah, I can't remember what order they were in, so, and it doesn't really matter because I didn't inspect them, I never measured them. So now I have taken the sample measurements. I've not spec'd the whole thing, I've just taken a couple of sample measurements to see what's worth taking and what isn't. I'm going to hang on to this one and wait and see. I'm going to hang on to all the cranks and wait and see, but I'd be intrigued if this one's any good either. So it's super easy way to keep track of them now. Original, first reserve, number 3, number 4, nose of the odd machining, plus Z1, the stamp on it, and most meat, number 7, and I've written effectively the same here, original, first reserve, Z1, and piss off, most meat. Hopefully one of those is good and I can carry on. I don't care about the money I spent in the other machine shop, I don't care about any of that. All I want to do is move forward with the build. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's it. 3 cranks are in the car. I've got my records what I measured. Tomorrow lunchtime we're dropping them off. Probably take a week to get the info back and see where I'm at. In the meantime, maybe not the subscribers so much, but people in general have been liking the Falcon maintenance videos. So if I get time I'll do another one Saturday. I've got like 10 things I have to get done on it. I'll do one a week. It'll take me 10 weeks. In a perfect world, in a week and a half's time, I'll have an engine to build for the race car and won't be doing them.